Well, good morning. In Shakespeare's Merchant of Venice, Lorenzo says to Jessica, now, to tell you the truth, I'm not sure under what circumstances in the play he does this, okay? I'm just going to quote what he says here. There's not the smallest orb which thou beholdest, but in his motion like an angel sings, still queering to the young-eyed cherubims. Such harmony is in immortal souls. But whilst this muddy vesture of decay doth grossly close it in, we cannot hear it. Now, I'm going to repeat that again in just a second. Yesterday was International Tarot Day. Now, I don't know how it became that, but it because so much of my life is centered around tarot cards, tarot books, and things like that, and how much of my understanding of the practical Kabbalah is illustrated by tarot cards. It should be a pretty important thing, and I'm going to illustrate a little something using tarot cards this morning too. But I'm going to review something that I said just the other day, okay? And then I'm going to elaborate on it. I'm going to dilate it. I'm going to use it as for further exegesis. Now, I know my image appears to be blacking out, and okay, because I'm using my little computer, my little MacBook Air this morning, so it might be a little crazy. Forgive me. But I was talking about the cosmic spark plug and why the lowest of the low tarot cards are plugged into the highest of the high tarot cards, and why the final hay in Yod He Vav He formula, or the princess, or the 10 of discs, or the 10 Sephira Malkuth, is so important and plugged directly into the top, as above, so below. Malkuth is in Kether as Kether is in Malkuth. And I call it, I'm sorry, I've been having this frog in my throat this morning. The cosmic spark plug, or the second hay, is special. Now, I said this just the other day, so don't accuse me of repeating things, because I am. Yod He Vav He is a 4-letter name, but it's comprised of only 3 Hebrew letters. The fourth and final He is repeated. Fourth and final letter, He, is repeated. This implies a special status to the final He. It also implies a special status to everything the final He represents, including the court card princesses. The final He represents the lowest Kabbalistic world, Asaya, and it's special. The lowest part of the soul, Nephesh, is special. The special element Earth, or the lowest element Earth, is special. The lowest suit of discs is special. The lowest court card princesses are special. Now, right now, this little tidbit of information might not seem very significant, but it's very important. And I want you to remember, because like the spark plug in an internal combustion engine, it is the feature that makes this working tool work. the working tool of Yod He Vav He. The special status of the final He as the lowest of the low links it directly to the highest of the high, the all-important fifth element, spirit. Spirit is the magical magnetism that attracts and pulls the four elements together in various combinations, proportions, to form the material universe, while at the same time keeps them pushed apart so that everything just doesn't turn into mush. The lesser arcana of the tarot, the element spirit, is represented by the four aces, which are paired with their princesses, the earth court cards, like the Ouroboros snake with its tail in its mouth. This is why the court card princesses are called the thrones of the aces. Okay. Now, a while back, my good friend Jason Augustus Newcomb wrote a marvelous book called New Hermetics, 21st Magic for Illumination and Power. That's back in, actually, almost 20 years ago now. And I start my little introduction to that, or it's the foreword, actually, with that quote from Shakespeare. There's not the smallest orb which thou beholdest, but in his motion like an angel sings, still queering or choiring, as in choiring, singing in a chorus, okay? But I digress. There's not the smallest orb which thou beholdest, in his motion like an angel sings, still queering to the young-eyed cherubims. Such harmony is in immortal souls. But while this muddy vesture of decay doth grossly close it in, we cannot hear it. To slip the muddy vesture of decay, in which essence our immortal soul doth like a sleeping princess lie entombed, is the great work. It is the sacred quest of the mystic, alchemist, yogi, magician. But it's also the inescapable destiny of every unit of evolving consciousness in the universe. But how do we go about extricating this pristine essence from the tomb that so, quote, grossly closes us in? Can we chip it away like a clay cocoon? Can we shed it like a serpent's skin? Can we wash ourselves clean of it? We can try. Indeed, plotting the escape from this prison of matter is the raison d'etre of the world's great religions. As Hindus and Buddhists, we deny it as illusion, and I might add, just generally speaking, as mystics. As Christians, we attempt to bribe our way free with a ransom savior. And together with the other people of the book, Muslims and Jews, we hate and fear it like the devil, make war upon it like an enemy, flee from it like sin, discarding God-given common sense, gamble our souls on the historicity of myths and obedience to scriptural law so that after death we might discover we've won the prize of immortality. Such efforts in and of themselves will remain forever doomed. For while they are effective instruments for spiritual crowd control, they ignore one very fundamental and paradoxical cosmic truth. that is the tomb of matter, the muddy vesture of decay, is itself an inextricable part of the essence of our immortal soul. For is it not written that the temple of initiation is also a tomb? The famous work that gave us the fundamental axiom, it is true, no lie, certain and to be depended upon, that the superior agrees with the inferior and the inferior with the superior to effect that one truly wonderful work. That's from the Emerald Tablet of Hermes. That's our as above, so below. Verse 5 and 6 of the Emerald Tablet goes on to provide the diligent aspirant the mystic key by which he or she can arise from the tomb of matter, even while acknowledging the tomb is an integral part of the self. 5 and 6 goes, the power is perfect after it has been united with a spiritus earth. Separate the spiritus earth from the dense or crude earth by means of a gentle heat with much attention. It's the profoundest of cosmic ironies. The divine power, our true spiritual essence, does not achieve perfection until it hits rock bottom. The rock bottom of the cosmos, the dense and crude earth. It remains imperfect until the moment of entombment, for the simple reason that until that dark nadir is reached, the experiential adventure of existence remains incomplete. The self is not yet endowed with the entire spectrum of light and consciousness, from spirit to matter, from the highest high to the lowest low. This is why Hermetic tradition informs us that the highest angelic hosts envy the children of the dust, because humans have something they will never have, a little bit of everything from the top to the bottom. High as they are, the angels and archangels are stuck in divine middle management without a complete stash of the raw material necessary to clone themselves to perfect Godhead. Aleister Crowley describes this process as, quote, the general doctrine that the climax of the descent into matter is the signal for the redintegration by spirit. And redintegration means restoration to a former state. Once the lowest low has been reached, the power is perfect, and the process of return initiated. That's why the princess, the earth, is the throne of the ace. The ace doesn't have a bed to live in, to sleep in, till the princess, okay? The Emerald Tablet of Hermes tells us how to begin. We are to separate the spiritus earth from the dense or crude earth by means of a gentle heat, with much attention. This doesn't mean that we cook ourselves over a low flame, although in symbolic language of alchemy, that's pretty much what we do. It means that through a slow, balanced, and gentle process, we are to, with great attention, distill the essence of our being. The song of our soul from the muddy vesture of decay. This is the initiatory process of the Hermeticist, old and new. A balanced general program of study, practice, meditation, mixed with the effects of one's own inherited destiny, whether you call that luck or fortune or karma. Initiation is not a reward or an achievement or a seal of attainment. Indeed, the initiate may never, at least not in this limited incarnation, limited dimension of an incarnation. Initiation means to begin, and the first question a candidate is asked at the threshold of the temple is simply, are you ready to begin? Now, just to illustrate something here, I think I've got a little thing right here. There's a tree of life. If I can get it there. That figure 4 is a tree of life. And now you see Yod He Vav He. And the Yod is touching Sephira 1 and 2. Now that number 1 is the ace. That's the ace of the suit. That's the ace of cups. That's the ace of cups. And down at the bottom is the Malkuth of that tree of life. That's the 10 of cups. Okay. Now, for the time being, let's not even talk about the court cards. That ace of cups, right there at the top, reaches its full nadir down at the 10. Okay. That 10 and that 1 have more than everything in common. Okay, the Yod of Yod He Vav He is 1 and 2 on the supernal triad. Actually, it's more, think of it as 2. Okay, it's got its little cap up there in 1, but the ace is itself. And number 3, okay, is the He, like the great Father, Mother God, okay. Now, below the abyss for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 is the Vav. And then dangling at the bottom is the final He. Okay? That's what we were talking about just now. Okay. Now, where was I? So, on a tree of life, that's the number 1, at the very top, the ace. And number 10, it's the very bottom. Oh, it's even perfected success. Oh, how nice. So that's the, as above, so below. Okay, the power is perfect after it's united with the Spiritus Earth. Okay, now, the supernal triad looks something like, let's see, I guess it looks something like, got an ace at the top, got the queen, ace at the top, the queen over here, and the knight over there. There's our supernal triad. Yod, He, Vav, He. The princess is the throne of the A's. So that is our little story today. Our great work is to process the muddy vesture of decay. We don't escape from the tomb, we take it with us. It's the temple of our initiation. That's my little lecture for today. Until tomorrow, continue to be good to yourself, be good to each other. Happy Memorial Day, if you say Happy Memorial Day. And if you are up here in the Sacramento area, we will have Monday Night Magic class tonight. So the subject is the Tarot Architect. Till tomorrow, continue to be good to yourself, be good to each other. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will.